you doing? This is Black Shy Guy coming at you with another podcast episode. And as always, before we begin, I want you to go get your drink. Make sure it's a nice one. Make sure it's not no soda because you know how that shit is not healthy. Soda's not good. Make sure you go get some water or even a protein drink, something much more healthy, even a freaking orange juice. In the morning, get some coffee. But that soda and all of that poison crap, listen, leave that shit alone. But as always, I thank you for sitting at my table. I want to talk about what everybody is talking about, honestly. I usually don't get into what everybody's talking about because it gets oversaturated and it just gets overwhelming to hear the same shit every day. But I got to talk about this because it relates to what's going on in society today when it comes to social media, when it comes to relationship, when it comes to men and women being involved in the same house and continuously working at the relationship that despite it being a struggle, they continue for the fact that a family foundation is way more important than your self gain when you decide to go at it alone and leave the relationship because it's a little bit of a struggle. You know what I'm saying? And the person everybody's focusing on that basically describes exactly what's going on with modern society today is Tia Mowry. And if you don't know who Tia Mowry is, she's the young lady who was in Sister Sister. You know what I mean? She's a very attractive young lady. Let me show you. Let me show you how attractive she is. She's very attractive, as you can see. Um, Very beautiful. She's a beautiful young lady, and a lot of people after her interview were telling her, basically telling her, "Why don't you go back to your husband? You know, why don't you go back to your husband?" And she responded by putting up this post. Obviously, she's very beautiful in this picture. I mean, but in a way, with what we're talking about, her looks is neither here nor there. It's what she wrote. Just because the dating life is complicated doesn't mean I'm going to go back to something that no longer serves me. That's like implementing if I don't book an audition or a part as an actor right away, I'm going to give up on my dreams. Okay, please just stop. I ain't that weak. Please move on because I have. Thank you. Next. And then you got all these ladies chiming in. One thing about Tia is she's going to glow with or without a man. And is this a guy? Is this a guy? Are you killing me? When I see men on the post like this, when I see young men commenting on a post like this, basically congratulating congratulating a woman that decided to move on from a man she divorced and had kids with, I laugh at them because they have no idea. They have no idea. She destroyed a family foundation. The very thing that she talks about in this interview as well. She talks about the family foundation in this interview as well, which I find very ironic. Very ironic. Because obviously she said there was no cheating involved on why they broke up. So obviously the reason she wanted a divorce, because I believe she's the main one that wanted a divorce, she wanted to venture out. She got tired of being married. It got tiring to her. It got boring, no excitement. So she wanted to venture out. Only to find out in that interview that she revealed that dating is very complicated, very difficult. Of course, because the world has changed. The world has changed. And we continue on with other people in this post basically saying, oh, wow, I didn't even know people were trying to paint that narrative. I came to say that this right here is one of those power poses. Get it, queen. Oh, my God. And then you got people like this one, and you said what the fuck you said. And thank you, queen. Everything doesn't need to be addressed. Speak your truth, live your life, move forward. What a way to kick off. I've had enough. I've had enough. At least there's more ladies posting because when I see a man posting under this, it sickens me to see men posting on the ladies' post that left a man who basically took care of their family and everything, but she decided to leave because she got bored of the marriage. Whatever. But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna go into the interview. We're gonna go into the interview that she had on a podcast. And one thing I want to say before we dive into the interview, right? The problem with dating today, which I'm gonna give a shout out to Jay the Black. I'm gonna put his link down in the description of this YouTube video. And if you're listening to it through my podcast, which is on your local podcast stations, most likely a lot of you listen to it on Spotify. The link will be in the description as well, because I recommend that you listen to what he has to say about this, because he really put it down. He really put it down. I really like Jay the Black. I really like the way he describes a lot of the modern era of today. So I give a shout out to him for real. I mean, he's very interesting to listen to. But my perspective when it comes to all this is the main reason dating has changed today, and this is my honest opinion about what's going on with modern dating today. Ladies have changed the game, and it's only one reason why the game has changed dramatically is because ladies are acting like men now. Before, when and I remember quite clearly when I was young and we were dating, it was hard to find a lady that found power in the fact that she's able to date multiple individuals at one time. It was hard to find a lady who found power in exploiting herself sexually. It was hard to find a lady like that because ladies seen that as a very, very destructive way to represent themselves. You didn't. There was not a lot of ladies sexualizing themselves back then. You found a lot of ladies worth marrying back then. It's true. Dating has changed tremendously. Now you don't know. You don't know. You don't know who's You don't know who you're getting yourself into. You don't. Ladies of today have changed, and I'm not saying men are not the cause of it as well, but men had to adapt. I mean, what else are we gonna do? Because we're usually the ones chasing. So the fact that ladies have changed the way they go about when it comes to dating, we had to change as well because we had to adapt because we're the ones going after them. You know what I mean? Ladies are usually not the ones chasing. It is the men. So the fact that we're the ones chasing, we had to adapt to the game. And I hate to call it a game, but it really is now. It really is a game now. And the fact that we had to adapt, and it did get to the worst, honestly. I mean, it did change to the worst. Dating has changed to the worst now. And the fact that we had to adapt, unfortunately, a lot of men became kind of they became kind of evil because they had to play the game as well. They had to play the game as well. So now we dive into this interview with Tia Mowry, where she talks about a lot of different situations when it comes to dating. But one thing in particular in this interview I want to focus on, because I'm definitely not getting into all the everything that she spoke about when it comes to this interview. I'm not getting into all of that. There's no point into getting all into all of what she talks about because I want to focus on one thing. And she talks about the importance of a strong foundation. That's what I want to talk about. Because in a way, she contradicts almost everything with her divorce. And I want to see, and this is the first time me actually listening to her in this interview with Chris GQ Perry. I really want to hear what she says about it entirely. I want to see if she actually contradicts everything she says about marriage, about a family foundation, about working on a relationship. What does she have to say about that? That's what I would love to really get into. I want to see how bad she contradicts herself. And before we continue, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button if you're on my YouTube channel. If you're on my Spotify, make sure you spread the word. Make sure you tell people about the freaking podcast. And also, I really appreciate the fact that you're following me. I really appreciate your support. And like as always, before we continue, I thank you. I want to thank you for sitting at my table. Let's continue with this podcast interview when it comes to Tia Mowry.
That it prepared us for when sister was over. So yeah, I am who I am today. A lot of it because of my parents.
That's really dope. In the dynamic, having the mom, and the dad in the home is so important, because I feel like in today's generation we lack that so much.
I know.
It's so easy to leave, right? It's so easy, like
yes.
You notice, and I hate to laugh about it because it's not a joking matter. He hit already right there when they started talking about the family foundation that it's easy to leave. It's easy to leave a relationship. It's easy to leave. And when it comes to Tia Mowry, she left a 20-year marriage. What? I don't understand why you would leave a marriage that you were involved in for 20 years with kids. I don't understand. Why would you leave? Why would you leave? Especially when there was no infidelity involved. Why would you leave a marriage like that? And obviously, we all know she was the one that wanted the divorce. There's no way her husband wanted the divorce. Why did she want a divorce from that marriage? And in that post, she said it no longer served her. What do you mean it no longer served you? When you're married, it's not all about you. It's all about the family foundation, the very thing you're talking about right now. Let's continue.
Nobody wants to stay and work on things in relationships anymore.
Yes,
Everybody.
That's sorry to cut you off, but go ahead.
No.
Sorry. It's true.
And I say that in the sense where a lot of people just don't want to put the work in. And then there's people that really try really hard to put the work in, and things just kind of don't work out. But
things don't work out because the other individual doesn't want to work at it as hard as that person who wants to work at it. And she's one of the people that didn't want to work on her marriage. She didn't want to work on her marriage. She just wanted out. You see, there's a lot of people that stay in relationships, especially when they already put a lot on the line, especially when they have kids involved. They don't want that relationship to dissolve, so they try really hard to work at it, despite the other person not wanting to work at it, because they know there's too much to lose if they don't. But the other person, all they're thinking about is freedom, the ability to branch out, to test the waters. To test what? There's nothing out here. There's nothing out here. Dating today is extremely difficult. Extremely. Because there's only one or two particular set of guys that are getting all the ladies. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. And there are ladies that set high expectations that don't even serve them any purpose. They don't even deserve the expectations they want. And if you want me to be brutally honest, there's a lot of ladies that want things that they're not even worthy of. Listen, we're going to continue with the interview. I just want to say a couple of things. There are a lot of ladies that want men that they don't even deserve. I have friends, right? I do have friends, and I'm going to say it. I have friends, right? When I tell them, when we get into a conversation and they're like, yeah, I want a guy. My guy needs to be fit. My guy needs to have this. My guy needs to have that. And when you look at them, I'm like, but you're not fit. You're not even in shape, but your man got to be in shape. Why is that? You're not even in shape, but your man need to have a six-pack. Why is that? So you won't even give a man who's not in shape a chance because your man needs to be in shape. That's your resume. According to you, that's your resume that your man has to uphold. He has to be in shape. But you don't need to be in shape. You're allowed to be unhealthy. But as long as your man is in shape, it suits the purpose of the relationship that you want. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. And that's what's going on in modern dating today. Because remember, like I said, men are the ones chasing. Ladies are the ones that are setting the boundaries and the rules and setting all these freaking um resumes that need to be upheld in order for them to give you a chance. Why is that? Doesn't make any sense. But let's continue.
I just feel like it's so important for kids to have a strong foundation in their upbringing and have a solid man. Like my dad showed me things that were very important for me to be a man. And he showed me how to love a woman because of the way he loved my mom.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
You know?
It's important. Kids, this like major over here, I'm not a therapist, by the way, but kids learn through, I study growth and child development. Kids learn through observation. You could sit there and you can tell them all you want. But if they don't physically see it, and if they don't see it actually happening, then how are they, going to learn? But I love that you use the word foundation, because you need a good, proper foundation for any house to hold up.
Obviously, you don't know nothing of it, Tia. You don't. Because you told us about your foundation, how you had a strong foundation in your home when you were growing up. But at the same time, when it came into your relationship, you didn't want to uphold that foundation, despite the fact that we don't know all the problems you and your husband had. We don't. So a lot of people who are throwing accusations on what problems you had in your relationships, it doesn't serve them any right, because they don't know the dark corners of your relationship. We don't know what happened. Obviously, you already told us that it had nothing to do with infidelity. So whatever happened in that relationship, if infidelity wasn't involved, if physical abuse wasn't involved, then whatever was happening deserved to be worked on. You guys could have worked it out. But like you said in that post in your Instagram, it served you no purpose. So what served you no purpose? What served you no purpose? Because the foundation you had was worth fighting for. That foundation you had didn't serve you any purpose? Yet you want to be on Chris GQ's TV interview talking about foundation is important when you destroyed yours. It doesn't make any sense. But let's continue listening to what she has to say.
You know what I mean? Like, no matter what happens, in the environment, whether there's a storm, or whether there's rain or thunder or whatever, it's like when there's a strong foundation, then it's so hard for that, house to crumble. And I was looking at one of your videos, and you were talking about how, and I was literally just talking to my assistant about this too, how I feel like we live in a society that is preparing people for divorce.
Talk about it. Let's go.
We really, really are. Yes. Because
I don't know if you forgot, but you just divorced. No, just throwing it out there. You just divorced. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if you forgot, but let's continue.
I feel like we use the analogy like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's like people just want to give up so easily. And it's like, oh, if Keisha's not doing what she needs to do, then whatever. We're just going to there's 10 other Keishas. You know what I mean? I'm reading this book called Closer to Love.
Is she listening to herself? Like, I'm being honest here. Is she listening to herself? Because you're talking about the very woman in the mirror. That's who you're talking about. Because I'm for sure, and like I said, a lot of people throw accusations of what possibly could have happened in that relationship. But I am so sure that husband did not want a divorce. He did not want to divorce her. And I have to admit, if I was him, I wouldn't want to divorce her either. Especially after having kids and having that foundation and her being a very attractive woman, why would I want to divorce her? For what reason? And her being successful in her career, I wouldn't want to leave that woman because to replace her would be damn near impossible. Not only is she the mother of my kids, not only is she a strong, capable woman, not only does she have a great career, not only does she keep herself fit and looking healthy, how can I possibly replace a woman like that? So I have to admit, I would not want to divorce her. I will try to fight for that relationship. So obviously, you know damn well the husband was trying to fight for that relationship, but she wanted a divorce. She wanted to get out. Why? Because I'm telling you, she wanted to test the waters. She wanted to test the relationships, the way the dating era is now. Only to, from what I'm hearing, to find out that she's saying it's difficult. Of course it's difficult, because dating sucks right now.
By Vex King, and he was even talking about this too, who I love, by the way. And he was just talking about how we live in a society where people don't want to do the work. People don't want to communicate. People don't want to work hard towards something. And it's pretty
It's like the whole world is Hollywood now. It's because social media. You could just grab anybody. You see somebody beautiful, you're in the inbox, you're liking and commenting.
Yes.
You could talk to somebody from across the world.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like...
And you're sitting next to somebody and it's like, you're good, but I saw somebody over there that looks better. But how's their soul? What do they believe?
And it's not necessarily social media. It's the options that are represented to everyone now. The options are so clearly available now because you can easily just send a message through the inbox. And if they do not respond, so what? On to the next. The options are endless in social media. It's not social media itself. It could have been any type of program, any type of development that could have allowed women and men to have an abundance of options. So it's not necessarily social media. It is, but you know what I'm saying. Options are endless now. So it's easy to give up on relationships. Only to find out when you give up on a great relationship and you're out there in the waters, a lot of people are drowning. Because despite the options being available, the options available suck. Because those very options that you're looking at are those same options that are leaving their relationships, just like you're leaving your relationships. So you're meeting yourself online. It's crazy. People don't realize that. But let's continue.
Believe what's their core values, what's their integrity.
We need to bring that back, and that's what I love about
you. How do we bring
you.
that back, though?
By what we're doing right now and what you're doing, which is bringing awareness, talking about it, talking about how important it is to keep, those morals and values when it comes to relationships. I feel like we have lost that,
Absolutely.
And I think how we get back to that is having examples. And that's what I love about,
Yeah, you're the perfect example that we can look at not to give up on a 20-year relationship. You're the perfect example, Tia. Thank you for saying that. You're the perfect example for people not to follow. If you have a 20-year relationship with someone involving kids as well, and that person fits the description of the woman you want or the man you want, because obviously both of them are fit. Her husband as well is a very attractive young man who stays fit as well and is the father of her kids and has a good career. So why does she want to leave that? To be with who out here? Because now she has to find someone equivalent or better than her man, who is the father of her kids. Where is she going to find that? Obviously, she's in the entertainment industry, so obviously she can find another man equivalent to her man. But is that man going to want to marry her? Despite her having the baggage of an ex-husband and kids. Because believe it or not, men look at that. Men look at the fact that you have kids with someone else and etc. Why would they want to be with you and start another set of family? Because let's say that man wants kids of his own. Do you think he really is going to want to have kids with you after you having kids with another man? It's just so much. It's just so much. Why would you even want to test the waters on that? Let's continue.
what your platform is all about, speaking that, truth. Because it's important,
Very. It's so important.
It's hard. It's,
Let me ask you, Tia.
Okay, go ahead.
How hard is it in the dating world now?
Oh my God.
Here we go.
What is it like out there for
Do we
a
have
single
a
woman?
shot of tequila? No.
And for her to already know how hard it is into the dating world, listen to what I'm about to say. For her to already know how hard it is in the dating world, damn, you're already out there fishing? You just got divorced, basically. Obviously, the divorce takes time. But she's already out there fishing. She's already trying to be a fisherman. How many men have you gone out with on a first date with already? For her to react like that towards modern dating of today, that means she's been out there already. And if I was her husband, her ex-husband, obviously, I would have been like, damn, girl, you out there already? Damn. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm looking at it in a perspective as me being the ex-husband who did not want the divorce. So when I see this interview, I would be like, damn, she out there already.
No,
I've been single for 5 years, so I don't know what this world is like out there. But I know it. But from what I see and from what I hear, it is tough.
It is very tough. I will say I've only been in the dating world for, I want to say 3 months now, and it is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
I want to throw the towel in. I'm like, what is wrong with
What is wrong with who?
Don't
say men.
I will say this.
Okay.
Someone had told me, and I
Don't say
like,
men.
No, I disagree with you, and I don't want to believe it. They were like, you just, because my last relationship when dating was, when I was, dating this person, it was beautiful. It was amazing.
She said when I was dating this person, is she talking about her husband or is she talking about a particular person? Because your husband should have the honor of his name being mentioned at least. He's the father of your kids. But let's continue.
It was wonderful. There was courting that was, involved. And I was saying how I feel like that's no longer, present, meaning like people.
And like I said, I want to give a shout out to Jay the Black. I'm gonna have his link down in the description because he also explained this correctly. Because it's true. Women have destroyed that. They destroyed it. Because how many ladies out there don't want the guy who's willing to court them, don't want the guy who's willing to buy them flowers, who don't want the guy who's willing to pull the seat out for them to have a seat first at the dinner table. They don't want the guy who's willing to put their jacket down on a puddle so they don't have to walk in a freaking pond of water. They don't want that guy. They don't want that guy. That's not the guy they want. That's not the guy they want. The guy they want is the guy who's selling drugs, the guy who's getting that money, the guy who's driving that hot ride, the guy who's able to get 10 other ladies at the same time while he's still dating her. That's the guy they want. That's why courting has been destroyed. That's why men have adapted, because being the nice guy does not work. It does not work. And that's the part of what a lot of the individuals in the Daily Wire don't understand, which I love the people in the Daily Wire, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, all those people. That's the part they don't understand, though, that the nice guy philosophy, the nice guy the nice guy and courting does not work anymore. Back then, it used to work. Now, it does not work. Let me say most of the time, okay? I'm not saying it never works. Because obviously, if the nice guy doesn't work with that particular lady, you got to look at the particular lady you're dealing with. Because obviously, that's not the type of lady you would want to deal with. Because obviously, a lady who's not modern, I'm going to say that, a lady who's not modern, an old-fashioned lady will love a guy who courts her. But let's admit it. The majority of ladies today do not want to be courted. They don't care about that. They say they care about it, But when they get it, they're like, this guy is too weak. This guy is this and that and the third. I need me an adventurous guy. I need me that thug. You feel me? That's why courting doesn't work today, Tia.
Just don't court each other anymore. And this person was like, well, that's old news. Like people just don't do that anymore. There's just this whole new way of doing things. And I'm like, you mentioned tradition, and I think that's where it kind of
tradition is destroyed. Back
to, where, a man is courting a woman and showing her, how much he appreciates her. And
that doesn't work anymore. That does not work anymore. And let me say it correctly, because I'm not above correction, okay? I'm not above correction. I'm going to say 65% of the time that does not work. That it doesn't. You show a lady that she's basically important to you, the way modern dating is today is almost a sign of weakness. You text a lady good morning on a daily, that's a sign of weakness. You text a lady in the afternoon to tell her how her day is going, that's a sign of weakness. That's the way modern ladies look at it now. You don't have to listen to me. Look at TikTok. Basically, look at they said the satanic TikTok. What ladies put down on there. I don't want a guy who texts me all the time. I don't want a guy who tells me how my day is going and this and that and the third. I don't want a guy this and that. It's ridiculous. Guys can't even walk up to ladies and tell them how beautiful they are anymore. Oh, look at this weird guy approaching me and he's telling me how great I look. Oh my God, I'm being harassed. Does she not understand that? That's why courting is destroyed. A guy can't even walk up to a woman in the coffee shop and say, hey, I just noticed you. I seen you a couple of times the other day. I was going to approach you, but I seen you were busy. But I see you're not that busy now. I was hoping if you have, at least 5 minutes or 10 minutes to have a seat with me, have some coffee, because I find you interesting. That doesn't work anymore most of the time. Ladies find that weird. But God forbid you want to do that. But you know what is allowed? Is hitting their DMs. That's allowed. That's what they see as cool. Let's continue.
Wants her and loves her or wants to be with her. And I feel like what's happening now, and again, I've only been in the world for a few months, is they have this mentality right off the bat that there is someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like there could be someone else.
Is it that they're the prize?
Yes. Yes.
Well, you see what? I hope Chris is not a beta. I hope you're not a beta, Chris. I hope you're not a beta. All right? Because there's a lot of things we can talk on when it comes to men being the prize. There's a lot we can talk about when it comes to men being the prize. And I'm not talking about that red pill crap. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that a lot of ladies don't want to admit to the fact that the men are the prize. They don't want to admit that. And I'm not saying ladies can't be the prize. Ladies definitely could be the prize because it's hard to find a good woman nowadays as well. I see it both ways. But the fact that a lady can't look at a man and say to herself, you are a prize to me. Look how she laughs at that. Let's continue. I can't wait to hear what she says.
Talking deep here.
Yes.
We're about to get into it.
Oh my God, that the man is the prize.
The man is the prize.
Yes. I'm talking loud. Yes. That is so true. Like they've taken it off of the woman.
And if we read the scriptures, we look in the Bible, the man becomes more infatuated with himself. And it's so
true.
So I'm a gym guy. I love the gym. I'm fitness. Okay. And I love the idea of building and growing and being successful.
He's preaching now because a couple of moments he was like a beta. But let's see where he goes with this. Maybe he's approaching his point because I really want him and her to go back to the prize. He brought it to biblical terms, which made sense. I understand what he was going with when it came to that. But let's see where he's going with it, because now we're in the modern age. Things have changed, and I'm not saying when it comes to biblical terms, um, because you got to understand the Bible's meanings don't change no matter how old the era is, no matter how new the era is. The Bible term stays the same. But let's see where he's going with this, and I'm hoping he's going in the right direction, because I hope Chris is not a beta.
And all the young entrepreneurs, it's very cool to see, but does it come to a point where people are just too self-absorbed?
Oh God, very much so.
And more, and I feel like a lot of men kind of lost the women are the catch. You know, women are beautiful. Women create life. Women create a home. Women are hustlers now and entrepreneurs and doing so much. And I just feel like men don't appreciate them the same way that they used to.
Jesus Christ. He went in the direction I did not want him to go to. And before he continues, I'm going to say this. Chris, men had to adapt. Men didn't change. Ladies have changed. They changed. I'm not saying there's no dirtbags out there who don't appreciate a good woman. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we have a lot of podcasts. I'm not going to mention the podcast's names or whatever the case. We have a lot of podcasts stating that if you find a good woman, you're allowed to date other women and sleep with 10 other women despite you having that one good woman. And she should appreciate the fact that she has you. So she shouldn't even get mad at the fact that you still want to go out and sleep with 10 other ladies. I'm not talking about those men. Because in my belief, that's wrong as well. To me, you find a good woman, you stay with that good woman, you treat her like the queen that she is, and that's that. And that's that. Because obviously, the more important of a man you are, the more available options you're going to have. But the way you're saying all of this, Chris, is men stop appreciating a good woman, or have ladies stop appreciating good men because of their resume now. Their resume, a lot of men do not meet those criteria that they want. They're setting their resumes way too high. Do you understand that, Chris? Their resumes, have you looked at their resumes? Their qualifications that the men need so they can even have a chance to take them out to dinner at that? That's one part of the red pills philosophy that I do agree with. They want a man who's over 6 feet. They want a man who makes 6 figures. They want a man, he has to have his own business. He has to have his own money. He has to have his own cars. He has to have his own place. And a lot of those things the men should have. But the 6 figures, over 6 feet, why does that need to be in the resume? I understand you don't want a dwarf. I understand that. I understand that. There's nothing wrong with that. But even an average height man, they don't even want an average height man, Chris. An average height man, they don't even want that. He needs to be over 6 feet. For what purpose is that height serving you? Let's continue to hear what Chris has to say, because I think he's going in the wrong direction.
Too. And I know, and I hear this all the time, and I know we're gonna get this. Yeah. Well, women are different now too. You know, women are. Yeah. I understand that, but I feel like men set the tone.
It's true.
How did men set the tone, Chris? How did men set the tone? That really pissed me off right there. How did men set the tone? If ladies would have stayed the same, then men would have stayed the same. And I don't know how old Chris is, but I very well understand the way dating is now and the way it was back then. You can walk up to a lady and invite her to dinner out in the streets, and she won't look at you as a weirdo or a crazy guy or a guy who doesn't make any sense or a guy who's unorthodox. You can't do that now. You can't do that now. You can't call up a lady and say, "Hey, I wanna take you out to dinner and then tomorrow a movie, etc." You can't show a lot of these ladies that you care about them because ladies have changed. The type of guy they want have changed. They don't want the nice guys anymore. And don't tell me that's not true because majority of the time it is true. Guys didn't set the precedence. It's the ladies that set it. Because remember, we're the ones chasing them. Don't you think if the ladies were chasing us, then we would have been in charge of the rules? The ladies make the rules when it comes to dating, if you really think about it. Because the fact that you're chasing them, they're the ones who set the boundaries and the requirements that is needed for you to achieve, I guess, time spent with them. They set the rules. They set the boundaries. They set the resumes, the requirements. Not the guys, Chris.
True. And I feel like also it seems as if men are now just looking at women as objects. Do you know what I mean? And just from
Men are looking at ladies as objects. You can't go into any internet site and not see a lady sexualizing herself. You cannot go into any site, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, without ladies showing their assets. You cannot go. It's impossible. It's impossible to find a woman for you to go to her social media and she's not sexualizing herself. If you find a woman, like, I'm gonna tell you this, guys. If you find a woman on and you go to her social media, which nowadays social media is the resume, and she's not sexualizing herself, that's a keeper. That is a keeper. Keep her. You can't find a woman like that. If you find a woman like that, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not trying. This part, a lot of people are gonna say, this is the part where you sound like a simp, shy guy. I'm not a simp. If you find a woman like that, try your best to keep that woman, because you're not gonna find another woman like that in a very long time who is not on social media sexualizing herself. I'm telling you that right now. You better keep that woman, especially if she's a woman that cooks for you, woman that does this and that and the third for you, and she doesn't sexualize herself on social media. Better keep that woman. Just saying.
one need or perspective, as opposed to, looking at building and growing. And what I mean by building, like building a family, growing a beautiful unit, for your family and your kids, building for a better future. And I just feel like things are so it's like instant gratification. You know what I mean? They just want something like quick and easy and now. I don't know. It's
When it comes to sex, yes, that's what men want now, because men are seeing the way men are looking at it now. The ladies that are available for that sole purpose, men are thinking that that's all they're worth now, and that's unfortunate. That's what modern dating. That's what modern dating has created. And that's why men are thinking that way, because they had to adapt. Remember, we are the chasers. We're the ones that want the ladies. We're the ones that want the ladies out there. So we're going to do whatever it is possible to get the woman that we want. And to get the woman that we want, we have to adapt to what they want. You see what I'm saying now? We have to adapt to what they want. And there's a lot of there's a lot of fakeness out there when it comes to men, because they adapt to who they're not. So the nice guy tries to act like the tough guy. The tough guy tries to act like he's the nice guy. And so forth. You see how the rules are changed? You see how the rules change according to what the woman wants? Yet Chris is saying that we set the standards to what modern dating is today. No, the ladies set the standards. The ladies set the rules. Us guys, we just gotta abide by them. Let me know what you guys think. If you want to see the rest of this interview, the rest of the interview talks about quality versus quantity, etc., people pleasing, all of that stuff. I really don't want to get into it because I think it's gonna really upset. I think it's really gonna upset me because I see where Chris's mindset is now. I think when it comes to dating, Chris JQ blames the men. He blames the men. I don't know if he did it for the simple fact that he had Tia Mowry on the show, but if he doesn't blame the men, but he went according to the interview to what she may like to hear, then I don't want to hear the rest because that's fakeness right there. But for him to blame the men for setting the standards to what modern dating is and have become today, that is completely wrong on his part. But this is Black Shy Guy. Let me know what you think. If you're on my YouTube channel, make sure you put down in the comments what you think. What's your perspective when it comes to modern dating? And if you don't follow my podcast, make sure you follow it on any of your local podcast stations, most likely Spotify. This is Black Shy Guy. I thank you for sitting on my table. I'm out of here. Peace.
Arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of the homicidal maniac.